Morning, everyone. It is our pleasure to be here to share with you our study, which named Lessons Learned for EFL Teacher Education Post COVID-19. Our presentation will cover the following points: some information about us, the rationale for the study, the theoretical background. Then, in the last part, we would like to bring a showcase of the student products and finalize some lessons that have been learned post-COVID-19. First, let us introduce ourselves. We are Nguyễn Phuong and Thuy from University of Languages and International Studies, Vietnam National University of Hanoi. We are both the lecturers of the Division of English Language Teaching Methodology, the Faculty of English Teacher Education. Now, let's come to our main story today. As you all know, the COVID-19 crisis has left impacts on every corner of life. With the spread of COVID-19 across the world, as of March 13, 61 countries in Africa, Asia, Europe, and the Middle East, North America, and South America have announced and implemented school and university closures. And most of the universities have enforced localized closure, according to UNESCO 2020. Higher education institutions have shown their significant capacity to adapt very quickly to the crisis, with lots of flexibility by shifting to online teaching and learning at very short notice. It has accelerated new forms of pedagogy and tremendous initiative from individual academics and institutes have emerged. Since the early spring of 2020, Vietnamese universities has been experiencing an unprecedented massive migration from traditional in-class face-to-face education to online education. In a short time period, millions of faculty members started to teach in front of a computer screen, and their students had to stay at home and take courses through the internet. So, what changes has COVID-19 brought to our courses at our university, or we call it ULIS? To help you understand more clearly about the lessons we have gained, we would like to go through the theoretical background of experiential learning, project-based learning, and flipped learning. So, as you all know, experiential learning focuses on the idea that the best way to learn things is by actually having experiences. Though experiences then stick out in your mind and help you retain the information and remember facts. The experiential learning theory of Kof in 1984 works in 4 stages. The first one is a concrete learning, and then reflective observation, abstract conceptualization, and the last one is a practical application. The first 2 stages of the cycle involve grasping an experience. The second 2 focus on transforming an experience. Kof argues that effective learning is seen as the learner goes through the cycle and that they can enter into the cycle at any time. Concrete learning is when the learner gets a new experience or interprets the past experience in a new way. For the reflective observation, it comes next. It is when the learner reflects on their experience personally. They use the lens of their experience and understanding to reflect on what this experience means. In the next stage, the abstract conceptualization. It happens as the learner forms new ideas or adjusts their thinking based on the experience and the reflection about it. And the last stage, active experimentation, is where the learner apply the new ideas to the world around them to see if there are any modifications to be made. This process can happen over a short period of time and over a long span of time. And we may know that there are many benefits of experiential learning for teachers and students. The first one is the opportunity to apply the knowledge immediately. Experiential learning can allow students to immediately apply things they are learning to real-world experiences, and they will remember the information better. This kind of learning also promotes teamwork because it often involves working in a team. So learning in this setting allows the student to practice teamwork. It also helps to improve the motivation. Students will feel more motivated and excited about learning in experiential settings. Experiments are exciting and fun for students, and they will be really passionate about their learning. And they will also have the opportunity to reflect about what they are experiencing and learning. It is very valuable as the students are able to better retain information when they can think about what is happening to them. And the last benefit we want to mention here is the real-world practice. Students can greatly benefit from learning that help them prepare for their real world, for the future job. Experiential learning is focused on using the real situation to help students learn so they are then better prepared for their future. In the next part, I just go briefly about the project-based learning. Project-based learning is considered to be a teaching method in which students learn by actively engaging in real-world and personally meaningful projects. The students work on a project over an extended period of time, from a week up to a semester, and that engages them in solving a real-world problem or answering a complex question. They demonstrate their knowledge and skills by creating a public product or presentation for a real audience. Consequently, the students then develop deep content knowledge as well as critical thinking, collaboration, creativity, and communication skills. Project-based learning unleashes a contagious creative energy among students and teachers. And the last theoretical background knowledge I want to mention here is about the flipped learning. So if you can look at the diagram on the screen, you can see the differences between the traditional and the flipped classroom. Because in the flipped classroom, the direct instruction will move from the group learning space to the individual learning space. And then the routing group space is transformed into a dynamic, interactive learning environment where the teachers will give the students as they apply concepts and engage creatively in the subject matter. In traditional learning, the lower level of learning such as remembering and understanding is happening in class, while the students are usually left to work on activities that involve higher level of learning outside of classroom. However, in the flipped classroom model, learning is flipped because you see the student at that time will have higher level of learning, such as analyzing, contrasting, or um, synthesizing, so that they can participate in the classroom activities. So let's find out why the tutoring project is claimed to have applied the features of experiential learning, project-based learning, and the flipped learning. The tutoring project is an assignment that is administered to enhance the pre-service teacher autonomy and to provide them with the project knowledge and skill relevant to their teaching major through learning by doing tasks. And this project is for the second year students of the Bachelor Honor Programs for English Language Teachers at the Faculty of English in ULIS. And in order to participate in this course, the students are required to achieve the level of C1 according to the CEFR, the Common European Framework. And in this project, at the beginning of the course, in the week 1 and 2, the students and the teachers will plan for the aim, the action plans, and the topics for the tutorials that the student will perform in the coming weeks. Students then will work in pair or group of 3 to become the tutors for 2 tutorials each semester. And at the time, the lecturer will become the supervisor. The students will have to recruit the tutors, the learner from the mainstream program. So as you can see, at that time, the teacher or the lecturer will not give the lecture as usual course. He or she will become the supervisor who will help the students to define the aim of the lessons. And then they will assist the tutors in planning and preparing for their lessons. In each tutorial, the teacher will assess the tutor's performance, the lesson plans, and the handouts. So, in this project, we can see that the student will experience the flipped learning because they will have to plan, prepare for, and conduct their tutorials according to the prescribed aims. They also have to design the homework that is relevant to the tutorial so that the tutors can practice more at home. They also have to promote the lesson within 3 days after each tutorial and give the feedback to the tutors. And due to the appearance of the COVID-19, the course has been conducted both online and offline, and tutors will conduct the tutorials in class, and when there's a lockdown or the quarantine, they will have to perform it online. And then they will collect the feedback from the supervisors and the tutors on their performance. And the last assignment, last task for the tutors will be the reflective reports. So they will have to reflect on what they have performed or what they have done throughout the tutorials. And this is one feature of experiential learning. In the next part, we would like to provide you with a showcase of the student products when they performed the tutoring projects and a lesson that may be useful for the EFL teachers' education. So just have a look at the screen so that you can see the performances as well as the activities that the students have done so far in the tutoring project. In order to initiate the course, they have to make the fan pads so that they can post their information, the introduction to recruit the tutees. There will be some information about the features of the course, the information, the revenue, and also the types of teaching. This is the one photo from the offline class that the students have delivered their tutorials. And in terms of the online class, they will make some videos so that they can send the link to the tutees, and the tutees will watch at home to do the homework and to note down the key points. And during the time of lockdown, the tutors also delivered some class online through the platform Zoom. You can have a picture of it on the screen. And these are the examples of the handouts that has been designed by the students so that they can deliver in each tutorials. So tutees will also have a chance to do some online homework. After each tutorial, the tutors will have note a recap with some reminders for the tutees and also some links so that the tutees can have a chance to do it online, okay, to reduce the time of face-to-face contact. You have a look at the link on the screen. Yeah, this is one reading passage, one reading exercises, so that the tutees can fill in the blanks quite easily. Okay, so we do think that the reasons for such great work from our students are 2 points. The first one, we would like to talk about the personalized education. You see, personalized education now is a trend because it would help the student to have the chance to get a learning plan based on how they learn, what they know, what their skill and interests are. It is the opposite of the one-size-fits-all approach used in most schools now. The student then work with the teacher to set both short-term and long-term goals, which help them to take ownership of their learning. And teachers at the time also just have the function of supervisor or the supporter to make sure that the learning plans or the project-based learning match up with the academic standards. And the teacher will check to see if the students are demonstrating the skill they are expected to learn as they progress through their education. If you have a look at the screen here, this is the syllabus that has been designed by the students themselves. So after discussing with teachers, the student will come up with the content for the whole course. So what they are going to teach from the tutorial 2 to tutorial 16. They will choose based on lies and myths analysis from the tutees and based on what they have learned so far, so that they can choose suitable skill and suitable knowledge to deliver to the TTs in each tutorial. And the second reason what we want to mention here is the innovative assessment. So, this course is somehow different from the other course in terms of the assessing the students. We do not have the written assessment in this course. No test at all, okay? No oral examinations. Students will be assessed based on their own contribution to the course, their own work and products. Just look at the lesson plans they make for the tutorials, the tutorial performances in terms including both online and offline, and then they also be marked on the reflective report and the homework checking progress for the duties. So to conclude, it can be said that the tutoring project has been tailored successfully to deal with the challenge posed by the COVID-19 and at the same time proved to be effective in innovating the traditional teaching method and the student assessment, especially in the EFL teacher education. It also emphasizes the potentiality of developing new forms of personalized education that are in much demand now. And we also would like to end our presentation with an excellent product of our students in the tutoring projects. And we do that you also have the good time when watching this video. It's also like a way for us to thank you for your attention throughout our presentation today.
Welcome back to E2E's tutorial project. We are Phuong Anh, Thuy and Nguyen. Before diving in the lesson, why don't we warm up a little bit with a small game? Let's puzzle up! We will show you some puzzles of a picture. What you need to do is in 12 seconds, try to get what the big picture is. Easy peasy, let's dive right in. So, let's give it up for the first picture. You have 12 seconds only today. So, can you get what this picture is about? Don't worry if you cannot get that. It is reading our tutorial today. Oh no, I've just spoiled the answer. That's just the first one. Let's move on. Your 12 seconds start now. Hola, what's in this picture? Can you get it? I'll show you some magic. I can actually read your mind. Is that you are thinking of in a nutshell? Because it is correct. In a nutshell means very briefly, giving only the main points. Now, let's come to the finale. You've beaten 500 other excellent candidates to be the most superb one. Let's draw the curtain to this game. Now, tell us, what is in this picture? Time's up! Now don't tell me you cannot get what it is, because it is freaking simple. Look at this. It is vocabulary. We hope that this game is a good warmer to put you into an English mode, attentive, interested, and ready to participate. So, what's all this game about? Whoa, we can see that your critical thinking is really... This game is a specific example of how we scheme to get the main idea of a text. Oh, are you asking why we have the guy named Thomas vocabulary there? Easy. Besides sharing with you guys some scheming strategies, ways to deal with reading for main idea question, we also share with you some tips to do the vocabulary questions as well. Those are also the agenda for the tutorial today. We hope that with our sharing today, we can provide you with better understanding of scheming strategy, recognize types of reading for main idea questions, then practice getting the gist of the given paragraphs, and identify the strategies to go about vocabulary questions. Okay, now let's come to the first part of our tutorial today. It's scheming time! I bet you're wondering what scheming is. Scheming is reading quickly in order to understand the main points without studying it in any detail. With the reading speed 3 or 4 times as fast as normal, scheming helps readers get a general view, the key ideas, the overall structures of the text, and many more. Now, do you remember the last reading lesson you have with Dad Chu, Ngọc Anh, and Hải Dương, where they shared with you some scanning tips? Skimming, what we are sharing with you today, can be contrasted with scanning. Skimming is not for finding any specific information like figures or names, but it helps you figure out the main points instead. Normally, we need a skim when the paragraph is too long and time is limited. But then when coping with V-step examination, you do need to skim in some exact task types. So please do not hesitate to ask your travel buddy Annalisa Skim for help when you visit heading matching land or getting the main idea city. Alright, so how can you cooperate with Annalisa's scheme? Easy. Read the title, the entire introductory paragraph, and the concluding one. Glance through the main headings in each paragraph if any. Read the headings of charts and tables. Read 1 or 2 first and last sentence only of each following paragraph. For each paragraph, read only a few words of each sentence or to locate the main idea. Stop and quickly read the sentences containing keywords indicated in bold-faced or italics. When you think you have found something significant, stop to read the entire sentence to make sure, then go on the same way. Resist the temptation to stop to read details you don't need. So, for example, have a look at this sentence.
Whale oil, rendered from the blubber, was used originally for lamp fuel and later as a principal ingredient of soap, margarine, paint oils, and lubricants.
Now, how do Annalisa Skim read this sentence? She reads like this.
Whale oil, blah blah, was used originally for blah blah blah.
So, in a quick glance, Annalisa Skim tells you that this oil was once used for something. That's way enough for the main idea. Okay, additionally, Annalisa Skim says that you should try to answer who, what, which, where, when, why questions while traveling with her. To get the idea organization, let's make friends with some of her best friends. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Marking Words family. Because, firstly, secondly, finally, but then includes, etc. Now, these mates will provide you with the way the author ordered his or her idea, which could be listing, comparison and contrast, time order, cause and effect, and so on. But remember, Annalisa's game has some secrets. Spoiler alert, we know what her secrets are. Because you are our dear tuties, we will tell you all. Surprise! Okay, so to maximize the happiness of the trip with Annalisa's game, you should read from top to bottom and left to right at a fast pace. You can actually use something to point to help you concentrate more easily, such as your finger, a pen, a pencil, or something like that. You should not skip any paragraph of the article, because when you skim, you take a calculated risk that you may miss something. For instance, the main ideas of the paragraph are not always found in the first or last sentence. Annalisa's scheme once told us that good skimmers do not skim everything at the same rate or give equal attention to everything. While skimming is always faster than your normal reading speed, you should slow down in the following situations. When you skim introductory and concluding paragraphs, when you skim topic sentences, and when you find an unfamiliar word. Alright, so for example, let's look at this. This is one of the texts in my exam last semester, and Alyssa's scheme told me that I should attentively read the first paragraph of this essay, then read only the first sentence of the body paragraphs, ignore unnecessary details, and go straight to the last paragraph and read it carefully. So, why don't we have a small exercise? Because Annalisa's scheme is already here. She can help you whenever you need her. Let's set the time limit for this task. Can you do it in 1 minute? Let's pause this in 1 minute and do it. Hey, how's it going? Annalisa's scheme told me what she's just read. Do you want to know? She read like this.
The world's population growing, harder to find new farmland, water is scarce and crop growth is slowing, children are malnourished.
And she told us that the correct answer is global population and the future. Now she want to ask you some questions. How did the highlighted words help you? How do the verb tenses help you find the answer? Can you explain why the other headings are attractive but wrong? Think about that. Now you can see Annalisa's scheme can save you hours of laborious reading, but still catch the gist as well as the perspective that the author wants to convey. However, she is not always the best travel buddy you need. Skimming is very useful as a preview to a more detailed reading. But when you skim, you may miss important points or overlook the final shadings of meaning. To skim, prepare yourself to move rapidly through the pages. You will not read every word. You should pay special attention to boldface, italic type, or uppercase words, bulleted and numbered lists. You will be alert for keywords and phrases, the names of people and places, dates, nouns, and unfamiliar words. Good luck! Now Annalisa's scheme will follow us to the next part of our tutorial today, which is reading for main idea questions.
Welcome to the second part of today's lesson, which is reading for main idea questions. So first, let's find out what is main idea. One of the most frequently asked questions in the reading comprehension section is about the main idea of the passage. There is usually one of these questions for each reading passage. Each passage has main and subordinate or less important ideas. The main idea is more general than the supporting ideas or details in the passage, which is the primary point or concept that the author wants to communicate to the readers about the topic. Think of the main idea as a brief but all-encompassing summary. It covers everything the paragraph talks about in a general way, but does not include the specifics. Before knowing how to identify main idea, we should make sure we all understand a few other reading concepts, preventing us from confusing them. First, topic. Topic is whom or what the passage is about. Topic sentence. The sentence in the paragraph that states the main idea. Next, author's purpose is what the author wants the reader to understand. And last but not least, theme. Theme is a subject or topic that is repeated throughout a text or multiple texts. Now I will help you distinguish some of the terms which may confuse you. The first couple is main idea and theme. The main idea and theme are two terms that are often interchanged, but there is definitely a difference between the two. The theme takes on a slightly more emotional tone. The theme is the underlying message that the writer would like to get across. Typically, the theme is some sort of statement about life or how the world works. Here's an example of a theme. Bravery would take you further in life than complacency or cowardice. Contrast with this example of the main idea. Brian enlists in the US Army to put his fortitude to test and serve his great nation. In the example above, the theme highlights personal attributes and attempts to provide a teachable moment. The main idea, however, is simply a statement of who or what is going to be discussed. Next, main idea versus topic and thesis sentences. There's one other concept that often gets confused with the main idea. Topic sentences are similar to thesis statements. A thesis statement will indicate what an entire essay is about. A topic sentence, however, is an indicator of what a specific paragraph is about. So, where are the main ideas found? It is easy to identify a main idea that is directly expressed in the text. Main ideas are often found at the beginning of paragraphs. The first sentence often explains the subject being discussed in the passage. Main ideas are also found in concluding sentences of a paragraph. The main idea can be expressed as a summation of the information in the paragraph, as well as a link to the information in the next paragraph. The main idea is not always clearly stated, however. It is more difficult to identify a main idea when it is inferred or implied. It can be implied through other words in the paragraph. An implied idea can be found in several ways. Several sentences in a paragraph can imply the main idea by introducing facts about the topic before actually stating the topic. Implied ideas can be drawn from facts, reasons, or examples that give hints or suggestions concerning main ideas. These hints will be clues leading you to discover the main idea in the selected text. You can also look for repetition. In any type of text, you can look for a repetition of ideas. Is there some central concept that the author keeps going back to? You can even use a highlighter to mark repeated ideas so you can measure their frequencies later. Now, let's come to the main part of this section, which is how to find the implied main idea. Step 1. Read the implied main idea example. Let me give you an example like this. When you are with your friends, it's okay to be loud and use slang. They will expect it and they aren't grading on you on your grammar. When you are standing in a boardroom or sitting for an interview, you should use your best English possible and keep your tone suitable to the working environment. Try to guard the personality of the interviewer in the setting of the workplace before cracking jokes or speaking out of turn. If you are ever in a position to speak publicly, always ask about your audience and modify your language, tone, pitch, and topic based on what you think the audience preferences would be. You never give a lecture about atoms to a third graders. Step 2. What's the common thread? In this case, the author is writing about hanging out with friends, going on an interview, and speaking publicly, which at first glance don't seem to relate to each other that much. If you find a common bond among them, though, you will see that the author is giving you different situations, then telling us to speak differently in each setting. Use slang with friends, be respectful and quiet in an interview, and modify your tone publicly. The common bond is speaking, which will have to be part of the implied main idea. Step 3. Summarize the passage. A sentence like different situations requires different kinds of speech would fit perfectly as the implied main idea of that passage. We had to infer that because the sentence doesn't appear anywhere in the paragraph, but it was easy enough to find this implied main idea when you look at the common bond in knitting each idea. Okay, let's practice a little bit. Here is a passage, and your job simply is to read it and try to find out what is the main idea of this passage. I have a tip to share with you. Answer these questions may help. Who, when, where, why, how, and what. Good luck! Hope that after this section, it will be easier for you to find out main ideas of a reading passage. And now, let's come to the next part of our lesson today.
Okay, so that is the video, and we hope that you have a good time watching it. So that is also the end of our presentation. So thank you for your attention. So if you have any question, please send it so that we can satisfy your wonders. Thank you.